everybody. Good morning and welcome to the June 10th workout. So today actually, as you can tell, I'm a little under the weather, as you can see. And so today we're actually going to take our workout kind of nice and easy. Just so everybody is aware, please have your water on standby. And then if you have any type of weight in your house, or even if you have like a regular size, about like 16-ounce water bottle or something that has some type of weight to it, it could be anywhere between 2 to 5 to 10 pounds. If you have 20-pound dumbbells too, that's amazing. These are 10-pounders. These are iron weights. We're going to be doing a lot of weights today. Just because personally, cardio is great, but there's nothing like weight training in order to build muscle, and also that increases your metabolism. Another big theme for today is just checking in with your body. Just because recently I got sick because of the air pollution in the last couple of days, so I would want everyone to kind of sit with that and just resonate for just a second. If you're not feeling well, or if you're a little under the weather, just do your best with the workout. We're gonna break up the sweat. We're gonna break up whatever is inside. And we're just gonna have a great Saturday morning, okay? So first off, we're gonna start up like we do every Saturday or every weekday workout. We're just gonna start with our warm up. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our shoulder rolls and we're gonna take it back. So on the side, guys. And as you do that, I kind of want everyone to take a deep breath as you're going backwards. And as the muscles and everything in your shoulders come down, I want you to exhale. So as you're going in, take a deep breath, widen up your chest. And this is just going to open up your chest muscles. This is also going to open up your upper body and your shoulders. And you're just going to warm up your body, actually. We're just going to take this a couple more times. And when you feel the muscles good and it's nice and heated, I want you to just stop for just a second, check in with yourself. And then we're going to take it forward. So we're going to take the shoulder rolls and we're going to go forward with them. Okay. Today we're going to be doing a lot of upper body and lower body. So this is going to be a half and half routine today. And then we're going to cool down with some of our stretches. So the next stretch I want you to do, I want you to take, this is my left hand. I want you to take it up, over, and I want you to pull slightly down. So from the back, it looks like this. So we're going to go up, over. We're going to take our opposite hand and we're going to pull that elbow down, okay? Just ever so slightly. And you're just going to hold this for about 5 seconds. Excellent. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side now. So this right hand is going to come up, it's going to come over, and my opposite hand, my left hand, I'm going to come over and I'm going to pull it down. So again, I'm just going to explain that again. So with my right hand, we're going to go up, we're going to go over. My left hand's going to come up. I'm going to take the elbow and I'm going to just slightly push it down. And you're going to hold that for about 5 seconds, okay? Just because today we are going to be doing a lot of upper body and the weights are going to be incorporated today. So that's important that your upper body is loose. And you're just going to hold it for a couple seconds. Remember not too much pressure on the arm, just enough where you can just get a good stretch in. Then we're going to reach towards the sky. And then we're just going to drop. Okay? And then if you want, you could just shake out your muscles. And then for me, I'm going to come to the side just so I can show everybody. We're going to go clockwise and then we're going to go counter. And this is actually also supposed to open up your shoulder blade and your upper body. And this is also supposed to test range of motion for anybody with a shoulder injury. You don't have to go as wide as I'm going to. Again, this is just like baby circles, and then we're going to go medium, and then we're going to go really large, okay? So now that everyone can see it, I'm just going to stand like this. We're going to put our arms out, shoulder width apart. Excuse me if I'm out of range. And we're just going to open up our shoulders. So for me, we're going to start with those little baby circles, okay? And we're going in a clockwise motion. You're just making baby circles. You're just trying to open up your shoulders, that ball and socket joint, get your body nice and loose. And then now we're going to take it a little bit bigger. So as you can see, we're just going to take it a little bit bigger than we normally would. Check in with yourself. Just take a couple deep breaths as you do this. And then go as wide as you can with the largest circles. So now we're going as wide as we can. So for me, because I don't have any shoulder injuries or impingements or anything like that, or any type of impairment in my shoulder, I can go a little bit wider. And if you can't, that's okay. Now we're just gonna bring it back. Gonna shake it out just a little bit. And now we're gonna do the same thing again, except we're gonna do the opposite way. We're just gonna go counterclockwise now. So start off with your baby circles. And then we're gonna open up a little bit more. You're gonna hold that for a couple seconds. You're gonna just do the same thing. If your arms start to get tired, please feel free to just stop. The whole point of this exercise is just to get a good stretch and loosen you up. Okay. And then we're just gonna stop. And then I'm gonna take my hands, I'm gonna bring them back here. I'm gonna do like a little lock and key right here. I'm gonna just take my hand and close it. And I'm just gonna push out my chest going forward. Okay. Again, so we're gonna take the hands. We're gonna do our lock and key. Just, like a nice loose grip, hold it. And we're just gonna push out our chest, okay? And you're just gonna hold it there for a couple seconds. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. One more. Let it out. Excellent job, everybody. All right, and now we can start our upper body workout. All right, so again, I know I reiterated this at the beginning of class. If you have any type of weights, you feel free to use them. If you don't, you could just follow along. I'm gonna take my sweater off. I know this came up in my previous class on Tuesday. I was filling in for Coach Elaine. If you get cold in between your workouts, I highly suggest just keeping your sweater on or going to a more warmer environment. You don't want to dip in and out of cold. That's actually how you get sick a lot faster because your body's adapting, just a temperature change, air particles, a whole bunch of stuff. And you don't want to constantly be going in and out of one environment to the next. So kind of keep it constant. And if you need to, keep your sweater or sweatshirt on. But just remember though too, that means you have the that you can overheat though too, and what you don't want. If you do happen to keep your sweatshirt on, just remember to stay hydrated with our water bottles, okay? Because you tend to sweat more. That's your body's cooling mechanism when you sweat. All right, so I'm just gonna toss this bad boy off. We're just gonna put it over here for the time being. And now that we're all set, right? I'm gonna take my chair, I'm gonna bring it back in center. And then the first thing that we're going to be doing, I'm going to take my 10-pounder and I'm just going to demonstrate the exercise today. And I'm going to do this standing and I'm going to do it sitting because it really just depends on your preference in the gym. For me, I personally like to stand whenever I do my biceps. Some people really like to dig into their muscle and they'll sit down and do their biceps. I'm going to show it both ways, just for people who, need to sit down for whatever reason. It could be age, health related, doesn't matter. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my dumbbell. This is a 10-pound weight. And again, you can substitute with your baby weight. And we're just going to do bicep curls. So something really simple. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the elbow not totally attached to where there's no room, but attached enough where there's a little bit of room here. So my fingers should be able to fit, but not so much where they can't fit in between the shoulder, the bicep touching my abdomen on this side, or the side of my abdomen. Okay, so we're just gonna keep it nice and tight, but not too tight. And simply we're gonna just bring the dumbbell up and we're gonna contract the bicep as you see it here. And that runs all the way upward, okay? So just very simple, just a basic bicep curl. And I'm gonna take this 10 times. And what you do is you hold for 2 seconds and you really contract the muscle. And this is number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. All right, so I'm gonna put my weight down. I'm gonna shake my arm off for just a second. And then I'm gonna switch over weights. Now, for me, like the way that I'm positioned where my non-dominant leg, which is my left leg, is front and center, and my body's arched off to the side so that there's enough room. And that also, just so that I feel comfortable, but that I also feel on balance. I personally don't like to keep my legs together like this. I kind of just keep it where I'm anchored, so that there's enough weight distribution in the upper body. But also too, if I get tired, I can sort of lean on my leg and then just drop the weight. You never want to hurt yourself. That's a really big one with me, is preventing injury. All right, so if you want, we could just switch over. So my right leg can come forward. Again, this is all about preference. This part here, I see a lot of people, like they really get into their muscle, they do it down here. It's all about preference. So whatever makes you feel comfortable. The most important thing is that you're contracting the bicep, okay? So now we're gonna switch over. And again, I have my 10-pound weight just for distribution of weight. Again, I have my legs planted like this. So again, my bicep is configured a little bit more to my body, but not enough where there's no space. And then I'm just gonna bring that dumbbell up and we're just doing a basic bicep curl. And we're gonna do 10 on this side. And what I want you to do is just a simple count in your head of 1, 2. When the weight comes up, 1, 2 in your head, and then bring the weight back down. And the reason why you do that is so that you give the muscle a second to contract, to feel that contraction, and then just bring it down. So we're gonna go 3, 4. And for me, if I need a little bit more contraction in there, if I feel like I'm not getting enough, like on that one I wasn't, I can drop the weight a little bit lower and bring it up. So for here, I had the safety of my leg being there to kind of cut me off to stop me. And this way, if I go down a little bit further, which is a deeper bicep curl, and you could just bring it straight up, that's another way you could do it. For me, I'm gonna keep my knee right here, and I'm gonna keep it right in the middle. So we're going on number 5, 6. We're gonna go 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job. All right, so now I'm gonna put my weight down. And I'm gonna get my chair out the way now. Just because that's for everybody who's seated. And like I said, personally, I prefer to do my biceps while I'm standing. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my weight. I have my chair on standby. I really don't need it for anything for today because I'm able to. This, you don't have to stand any type of tabletop. I like this is just shoulder width apart with your feet. Just so that you have a good distribution. You don't need to do tree trunk today. And if you don't know what that is, start showing up to class. All right. So again, I have my weight, it's adjacent to my body. And we're just gonna dig into the muscle now. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job, everybody. And now I'm gonna just put my weight down. Normally you could drop your weights when you're in the gym because I'm in this type of setting and these are iron weights. I prefer no one do that if you have iron weights. And now I'm gonna switch over now. I'm gonna switch over to my left side. Another beautiful thing is that you can alternate with your bicep curls, which we can't do if we have time today, but we're gonna try to hit all of the main muscles, synergistic muscles, shoulders, accessory muscles. So, all right, so I'm gonna stand on this side now. Again, I'm gonna bring the weight up and we're gonna do 10 on this side, okay? So very simple. Today's a light exercise, but it's not so much of the quality of it being light because what you're doing is strength training, which is just as important as cardio or any other exercise. Probably one of the best exercises you could do, whether you're a woman or you're a man. It doesn't matter your gender or how you identify. It's just important that you do weights. And it's excellent for all age groups too. Preferably more young adults than younger adults. As a young girl, I was never told to lift. And now look at me. All right, so now we're coming up on 5, 6. Remember that 1, 2 count in your head, okay? So as soon as the weight comes up, you're gonna say 1, 2, and then you're gonna lift it, you're gonna drop it down. So that's number 7, this is number 8. 2 more. 9, and 10. Excellent job. So at this point, you should feel some type of burn all within here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work the back muscle, okay? So now I'm gonna slide my chair over and we're gonna do triceps. So just so that you know, let's see, so we did 2 counts of 10 on each side. So I think we did about 40 today already of your upper body, which is excellent. All right. So there's a couple of different ways to do triceps. One of the simplest ways that I like to do, there's a couple ways. You could do them lying down, which is probably one of my favorites. I am going to show that to you, except I'm going to do it seated. And I also show the laid down version of it, another way I was taught, on top of just doing like the basic, tricep dip or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 10-pound weight again. And what we're going to do is we're going to take both hands. One's going to be on the bottom, one's going to be on the top so you can see it. We're going to bring the weight up above our heads. And please be very careful if you are handling bigger weights. You don't want to drop this, you don't want to hurt yourself, and you don't want to strain your muscles. So if you can't do 10 reps, that's perfectly fine. You could do 5, or you could do until the least of resistance, so where you feel the weight's too heavy, and then either drop the weight or just bring it, slightly back and then drop it. Okay. So we're gonna bring that weight above our heads, and and then the elbows. You see how my elbows are just like straight up? We're gonna bring them a little bit closer to my head, and we're just gonna dip it. And I'm gonna show this from the front, but it's just a tricep dip. So the weight is above my head, and the weight just comes down. And what we're doing is that we're using the tricep muscle. First we work biceps, and now we're working its opposite muscle, because this is its helper muscle. So whenever you do a bicep curl, this is the main muscle that's being contracted. This bottom muscle, the tricep, is its helper. Now, when you do the inverse, the opposite applies now. So when you work this muscle, the bicep becomes the helper muscle, and vice versa. So, there's that synergy between them, and there's that helper aspect to it. So I'm just gonna stand up so I can show you guys. And I'm going to show you from a couple different angles so that you can see it with me. So again, I have my weight, just the basic shoulder width apart. I'm going to stand back a little bit. I'm going to bring the weight up above my head. Again, my elbows are going to be tucked in, and then I'm going to bring the weight down, and I'm going to bring it back up. So it's going to go down and up. So for some people, a rule of thumb is to go down really slowly with the weight, and then quickly bring it back up. So as soon as you drop into the weight, and then snap it back up. Not too fast, so that, again, we're trying to prevent injury here. But the whole point of this is when you drop the weight slowly, you're really, because I'm more advanced, I could take a hand away. When you drop the weight slowly, like I'm starting to feel the pull in my muscle, and I have to bring that weight back up, it's starting to hurt. When you do that, when you drop the weight slowly, you're starting to feel this part being utilized here. And then when you snap it back into place, you're getting yourself reset for the next rep. So again, basic stance, and we're gonna take this 10 times, okay? So I'm gonna do 5 on this side, and I'm gonna do 5 facing you guys, okay? So everybody can see it. So again, it's just like this, very simple. Keep the weight above your head, even distribution on the hands. We're gonna go down, and we're gonna snap the weight back up. So we're gonna slowly dip, that's 2, and the weight comes up. 3, 4, and 5. Excellent. So now I'm going to turn over now that everybody can see what they're doing and they have a good understanding from all angles. Worst part about exercising sometimes is when you miss a key component at the very beginning, and that messes you up later for the fundamental work, because fundamentals make advance. All those athletes that you see, they have a good solid foundation. And again, I know part of my job here is to build healthy habits in everybody. One of the best things that you could do for yourself to build a phenomenal habit in anything that you do is work on your form and work on your consistency and showing up. And if you could do those 2 things and you implement some type of discipline, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, it just has to be enough. So if you did 3 reps today and you do 4 tomorrow, well, guess what? That rep is progress. Even if you did another 3 and you stayed, stationary, that's still progress. You showed up. So that's 3 now, and we're going to take it 2 more. We're going to dip. 1 more. Excellent. All right. So now, in total, we've done our first set for our triceps. We've done 10, and now I'm just going to show 2 other methods of it. So the seated version, very simple, same exact thing that we're doing. But for anyone who is seated, or can't stand for long periods, there's a lot of people who can't. Again, I'm going to take my weight, even hands, even distribution. I'm going to come up, I'm going to bring that weight above my head, and I'm going to bring it back. You see? And now I'm going to take my elbows, I'm going to tuck them in closer to my head. We're going to drop the weight, and it's going to go nice and slow, and then we're going to pop it back up. So this is the same exact version, except the only difference is that you're seated. This is just as effective as standing though. So we're going to go down. We're going to bring that weight back up. So I'm on number 3. We're going to take this for 7 more reps, okay? And that same count in your head that you keep it there, that 1, 2, when you're dipping your tricep, I want you to keep that same exact count. So right now we're going on number 8. Got 2 more. And 10. Excellent job, everybody. Excellent job. All right. One other exercise I'm going to show you for triceps. It is a laying down exercise, so I apologize to anybody who can't get to the floor. However, this is something I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm actually not going to do the repetitions with this. I'm going to just stand. I'm going to be seated to do them. But one of the exercises that I recently fell in love with when I was doing an at-home workout with another trainer on YouTube, was very simple actually, because I like to spice it up. What do they say? Like, variety is the spice of life. Well, there you go. So one thing I was taught, and the reason why I'm seated over here, I'm going to lay down and I'm going to show you how to bring the weight up. So we're going to go back. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to take this weight. Please be very careful. I'm holding a 10-pound weight, so be very careful when you lift it above your face. You don't want to drop it. Have a good grip on both sides of it. We're going to bring it down. And just so you can hear it, we're going to hear the weight, and then we're going to bring that weight up. And this is just another exercise that you could do to work out your upper body, the triceps specifically. It's that same motion, except you're holding the weight differently. Okay, very simple. I want to make sure everybody can just see this. So again, I have my weight here. It's evenly distributed, and I'm in a very simple stance. My knees are just close to my abdomen, nothing crazy. I'm going to bring the weight back. It's not going to touch, and I'm just going to bring it right back up. So kind of like that snap back motion. We're going to go down slow, and we're going to snap it back. Down slow, and we're going to snap it back. Okay? All right. Excellent. That's just another variation that I wanted to share with you guys. Something that I had fallen in love with. For these purposes, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it either in the chair or we're going to keep it standing. But that's another great exercise to do at home if you're able to get to the floor. I try to keep my workouts friendly to everybody, just because not everybody is capable of going to the floor and getting up off the floor. So it's important that everybody feels included. All right, so I'm going to take a seat real quick. And again, we're going to do 5 and 5. So we're going to do another set of triceps. We're going to do our dips. We're going to do it 5 and 5. Okay, so I'm going to bring that weight above my head. We're going to keep those elbows locked in. And we're going to dip, and then we're going to pop it back up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excellent job. Now I'm going to turn my chair over and push it off to the side. And again, I'm just going to take that weight. I'm going to bring it above my head. And we're going to go down. And again, my elbows are not going to be too close, but they're going to be like just enough room between my head and my upper body. We're going to stop that weight back. Now you're probably wondering, this count 3, 2 more. You're probably wondering, wait a minute, what happens if I don't have weights? What do I do? All right, well, that's an excellent question. And another rule of thumb I wanted to share, something that you actually can do with your chair at home. This is something I learned back in basketball, especially if you don't have any equipment, or if you're looking to get like a really good workout and you need to, work on your upper body. What do? Now, one thing I was taught was that your body's gonna come off the chair and you're gonna hold your weight. One of the reasons why I didn't share this exercise is because it's not really friendly to people who are older, and it's not friendly to anyone who has any type of shoulder tear. So again, this is for someone who's advanced, who doesn't have any equipment, who doesn't have any weights, who doesn't even want to use water bottles. So again, I'm gonna come off the chair. I'm gonna hold myself into place. I'm gonna suck in my stomach to keep my abdomen tight, and my legs are gonna come up. My foot's gonna come off, and I'm gonna squat down, and I'm gonna use my upper body, and we're gonna go down. So I'm gonna show 5 of these again. So if you see how my hips and my body's creating like this 90-degree angle, and you see how my upper body is back. That's the whole point of it. You're working your upper and you're working your upper body predominantly. The lower body is more for just like precision and for balance. But this is predominantly an upper body workout where you can focus on your triceps, and we're just gonna go down. Okay. So you're gonna go up. You're gonna go down, and then you're gonna bring it up. So you're gonna go down. You're gonna drop that weight, and you're gonna bring your body. And you're gonna snap it back up. And we're gonna go 3, 4, and 5. And you're gonna feel that probably more than you could actually feel the weight, because again, I'm only using 10 pounds there. And that one exercise, I'm using all of my upper body, and I'm actually managing to pick up the rest of my body off the floor. I'm using the chair as, you know, to kind of be my balancer. But that's a great exercise too for anyone who doesn't have any type of weights on them. We're gonna do one more set of triceps, and then we're gonna transition to the next exercise. I know today's predominantly a weight day, but today's a strength training day. And then afterwards, we're gonna do our lower body, okay? So our last set, I'm gonna do seated. I did 5 before, so I'm gonna just end with 5 here, the triceps. So we're gonna bring that weight up. Gonna have our elbows tucked in, and we're gonna go down and up, down and up. That's 2. Remember, we're gonna contract that muscle going down. And we're gonna go up. We got 2 more. Down and up, down and up. Excellent job, everybody. Okay, so now we're gonna need both weights. So before we did a lot of like one weight workouts, which is beautiful for anyone who, if you only have one weight, you can take your time. You know, we could transfer weight from one side of the body to the other, which is great because again, not everybody has workout equipment. You know, some people don't even have gyms. They really just have to work out with whatever they have available to them, you know, and that's a huge possibility. You know, we don't try to take for granted the things that we have in today, because we have access to so much stuff. But what happens when you don't have anything? What are you doing then? That's the real question. All right. So now that we've done our upper body, we did our biceps, we did our triceps, we're going to focus on our shoulders next. So we're going to do something called the shoulder press, which is very simple, nothing crazy. We're going to take our weights, and I'm actually going to demonstrate with the water bottles in case, again, if you have those 16 ounces of water bottles, you can do the same thing. You do, you know, you do weights enough time with something, it begins to hurt. And that's the whole point of it, you know, because you are supposed to feel some type of tear. You know, as much as exercise is a way to feel good, you know, there has to be some type of pain. There's a breaking of the muscle when this occurs on a more molecular level. And, you know, once that heals, that's what creates more muscle afterwards. But it's the breaking on a smaller level. So when you feel pain, it's a good thing. When you feel too much pain, that's when you have to alert your body. So again, always come back to how you feel. So what we're going to do for this shoulder press, I'm going to just demonstrate my baby water bottles. These are about 8 full ounces. So this is half of what you should be working with. But, you know, for these sakes, we're going to make the most of it. So I'm little, so I'm going to do my best to like try to stay to the floor. If you can't, just do your best. So the shoulder press is going to come up like this. So almost as if my upper body is horizontal, and then we're going to bring those weights above. They're not going to touch. And then we're going to drop the weight into those shoulders, into the shoulder blades. Okay. So we're going to bring them up and down. We're going to bring it up and down. We're going to bring it up and down. Okay. Now, while we're here, I'm going to take a sip of water just because there's air pollution. Oh, I hope everybody's feeling better with this week. I know a lot of cities, New York City, for instance, and I know Upper Westchester got hit really bad. You know, so I hope everybody's good. Please, you know, if you have a humidifier, any type of air humidifier at home, but also I know the air filters are really big right now. Please use them. Wear a mask if necessary. Do whatever you need to do to protect yourself right now, because I got hit really bad. But getting back to our workout again, so we're gonna start from here. This is like a rest position, and then a little trick I learned when I'm doing heavier weights. If you can't get the weight up or like your upper body's tired, you lift your leg up and you kick the weight up, and it kind of gets you back into that motion. So that's just a little trick for you guys. I see a lot of bodybuilders do it when they have weights that are maybe 4 times the size of these. They kick the weight up, and that gets them in this position, and then they're able to kind of do their upper body. Just something to keep in hand. Just a little hint, little Easter egg, as you would call it. All right, so we're just gonna bring those weights up, just like we were with our water bottles. We're gonna have like an even distribution. We're gonna bring it up, and we're gonna do 10 reps of the shoulders. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't have the weights touch as I just did. Force a habit, but don't have them touch. Kind of keep a little bit of space between them and have them on alignment the best you can. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, And our last one, 10. Then we're gonna run over our heads, we're gonna hold it, and we're gonna bring it down, and then I'm gonna put the weights right back. In my case, you can always drop your weights if you're at home. Again, if you have rubber weights, it's great. If you have metal weights like I do, bring the weights down, let them slide down, drop them. All right, so I'm gonna give myself a minute. Upper body's feeling really good. We're nice and loose. Starting to feel that weight resistance. You should feel a little sore at this point. If you don't, you could increase your reps, you can increase your weight. 10 pounds is a standard for me. I don't go any lower than that. For me, as an instructor and also as an athlete, continuous athlete in any sport, whether it's mixed martial arts, combat, or boxing, my minimum is always 10 pounds. So find that for yourself, whatever your minimum is, that will help you keep up consistently, where you're like, I know I could do this weight, I could add more reps, or I could take down the reps depending on how I'm feeling. But no more than 10, no less than 10. 10 is always a good standard in anything that you do. Once you feel that the weights are no longer having an impact on you, then I would highly suggest going up 2 pounds. If a 12-pound weight doesn't work for you and you just feel like, okay, I feel like I'm lifting the same, go up another 2 pounds. Or in our case, it goes up in increments of 5. So go up to 15 pounds. And once you start to feel that burn again, utilize that's your next standard weight. Okay. So right now we're going to bring our weights up again. We're going to do another set of 10. We're going to bring those weights up. I'm going to bring them here. I'm going to have them rested. Pick those weights up if you need to, depending on what you're doing. We're going to get into this little muscle position up here, and we're going to bring the weights above, and we're going to just start and do our 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to be looking lean and mean by the summer, guys. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job, everybody. Again, please don't have your weights touched. Force a habit. All right, so we're going to take another deep breath. I'm going to give myself just a couple seconds rest just for everybody, because again, this is more like a beginner workout. Generally, when I do weights or something, it's more than 10 reps. Generally, I try to do 15 or to the point of exhaustion, which is something I'll probably pick up in another class, in a more advanced class that's targeted towards advanced individuals. But for right now, we're just going to keep it to 10 and making sure we take our breaks. So I'm going to bring those weights up again, and we're going to do our last set until we transition over into our next exercise. So now that your weights are rested, keep your legs up, bring those weights up, get into the shoulder position, into this horizontal position like you're flexing. And we're going to go up, and we're going to do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more, guys. 10. One more. Let's do one more. Come on, push. Excellent job. I'm going to let my weights slide. We're going to just let them slide, go down, drop them. Excellent job, everybody. So I'm going to just take a brief time check just to see where we're at with our workout. I want to make sure we get to our lower body. Wow, we've done a lot on upper body today. All right, well, I got one more exercise for you, and then we're going to transition again. Proud of everybody for showing up on a Saturday. Doesn't matter who's with me. The point is you woke up and you wanted to train this morning. All right, so we're going to do what we call bent over rows. And this is a very simple exercise. Again, we're going to be using the weights. You can use your water bottles, you can use whatever you have. I'm going to lift up my 10 pounders again. So I'm going to take my weights. And when you pull from your weights, you never pull from your back. Never, ever pull from your back. There's one thing you get out of this class today, whenever you are lifting anything, you always pull from your upper body. For women in particular, that's why, we were given hips, we were given, thick legs, or doesn't matter your body composition, but generally with women, our lower bodies are where we carry a lot of our strength. So for us, and for men too, I've learned this from men in the gym when I've been lifting. Never pull from your back, never pull from your knees. When you pull from everything from your feet all the way up onto your hips. So if I get down and I go to lift this up, I don't want to pull from my lower back, because that's how you injure yourself, whether it's a herniated disc, it's a disc bulging out like that. You really can. You can hurt yourself. So please don't do that. All right. So if I'm going to lift, I'm just going to lift them up before I'm going to bend. And I'm going to do in the squatted position. And I'm going to just slowly pick them up, bring them up. And again, I'm pulling from not my upper body, my lower body. Okay. So what we're going to do, On this side of it, I'm gonna come over here so everybody can see me. For this, I'm gonna get into my just standard position, which is just shoulder width apart. I'm not doing tree trunk. So shoulder width apart. And then what I'm gonna do is, my butt's gonna come out a little bit, but my back is gonna be straight. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the weights forward. So I have both of them here, and they're gonna be in front of me. Again, my back is gonna be straight at an angle though. You see how my body's sort of creating like this 90-degree angle, because my back, even though my back is tilted, my back is still straight though. My back isn't like, you know, overly extended. It's not overly extended, it's not overly flexed. It's creating like a straight lines from one parallel to another until it hits an angle. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift my weights back up. Again, if you're ever lifting, you lift from your lower body, not your upper body. So standard position, I'm gonna lean forward, my butt's gonna come out a little bit. I'm gonna bring the weights in front of me, and then I'm just gonna bring them back. So you're gonna bring the weights, they're in front of you, and you're gonna bring them back. So these are what we call bent over rows. And this is gonna open up your chest, and it's gonna work out your upper body. So again, so if you wanna see me from the front, so again, I'm gonna be tilted over. I'm gonna make sure I'm in a standard position. My legs are not gonna be out like that, that's tree trunk. We're just gonna make sure that we have shoulder width apart. Our upper body's bent a little bit. The weights are gonna come forward, and we're gonna bring them back. So we're gonna do 10 of these before we transition. This is gonna be just, you know, an extra sweetener for your coffee this morning. So you're gonna go forward. This is what you call bent over rows and back. And again, those weights are gonna come right in front of you, and they're gonna come right back. So it's like this pulling motion. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you'll do the same thing seated. If you were seated down, you do the same thing. Your weight would come forward, but your body's planted, and you just come up and you bring the weights back. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job. All right, so my weights are dropped. Upper body's done for today. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and then we're gonna transition. Okay. So for anybody who was with me this week filling in for the other coach, one thing I did, I was really big on squats this week. And because I'm kind of recycling what I use, because again, another important thing that we want to do is when we pick up this idea of consistency in the gym, whenever you do like something that's like a compound movement, it's the same movement, except you're just progressing. You're either adding more weight, you're adding more repetitions, you're building muscle, and you're building up a resistance in the muscle so that it can endure more. So another big thing is just, again, this idea of consistency is taking what you know and adding on to it already. It's like anything, whether you're a teacher, you know, you're a scientist, you have like your basic components, and then you add more and more in order to create something that's bigger. So what we're gonna do is, and the reason why I say that is because one of the stance I did from earlier this week, if you're with me, if you weren't with me, this is new to you, that's okay. We're gonna get into tree trunk stance, which all that means is we're gonna open up our stance more than shoulder width apart. Our feet are gonna be out like this. You see how my feet are out, they're not inward, they're out. And then in our case, without the weighted squat, then this is called a wide stance squat. We're gonna drop into it. If everybody remembers, if anyone, we show like a trivia game, like what are you not supposed to do when you squat? It happens to do, don't lock your knees. That was the big takeaway on Tuesday, was not to ever bring your body up all the way and lock your knees. You're never supposed to do that. Whether you're on the weight machine, when you're doing the leg press, you're never supposed to lock your knees, because again, that causes injury, but that really can it can screw up your joints. So again, we're gonna go down. Another thing was we're gonna keep our back straight. We're gonna keep our abs contracted, so we're gonna keep this contracted, and then we're just gonna go down. We're gonna touch, and we're gonna come back up. And again, you see how my knees are sort of like bent. They're in this bent position. They're not extended all the way up. They're not flat. They have like, there's a hinge to them, was what we want. We want to come up, but we want to go back down. Almost like a ballerina or a dancer, it doesn't matter, but we want that fluidity in our joints. You never want to hurt yourself. Okay, so I'm just going to show it without the weights, and I'm going to do it with the weight, okay? So again, this is just called a wide stance squat, where we're going to go down, and we're going to come up. We're going to go down, and we're going to come up. Again, what was it? back straight, stomach contracted. We're gonna go down, we're gonna come up, down, and up. And that's gonna work your hamstrings, your quadriceps, I should say. And it's also gonna work your glutes. So it's gonna work your quads, your hamstrings are in the back, and your glutes predominantly, okay? So now that you know what a wide stance squat is, now we're gonna incorporate the weight in it today. Again, today's all about weights and strength training. So we're just gonna transition and we're gonna pick up our weight. So I have my handy dandy weight here. Okay, we're good on time. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into that same tree trunk stance. Me, generally, I like to hold the weight like this, meaning that my fingers are open and I put it between my fingers with this other hand, almost like I'm cradling it at the head of the weight. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna get into my stance. Again, so we're in that tree trunk position. My back is straight, my abs are contracted, my butt's out a little bit, and my legs are always mobile. So now that I have this weight here, we're gonna go down and we're gonna let our weight be our guide, and we're gonna just bring it back up. And again, you see how my knees are not like this, they're in that nice bent stand. So we're gonna start out with 10 of them and we're gonna see how we feel, okay? So we're gonna go down, we're not gonna touch the floor with the weight, we're just gonna bring it back up. And when you go down, make sure you're contracting your glutes, try to keep your back straight as best you can, and keep your abdomen tight. I know it's a lot to ask for, but that's how we build core strength. That's how we build our lower back too. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job. Now I can come up, put my weight down for a second. Take a deep breath. Just check in with my body, how am I feeling? If you feel any type of pain in any area that's a little obscure, I suggest just relax. Make sure that you're okay. Check in with yourself. You have to stop, you stop, take your break. All right, so I'm gonna get back into my stance now. I'm getting ready to pick up my weight. My legs are gonna be bent. I'm gonna pick that weight up, 2 hands, I'm gonna lock it in. And again, I'm gonna pull from the back of my butt, the back of my butt, but also my lower back and my butt. That's where I'm picking up from. I'm not picking up from my upper back. I'm picking up from back here, from my glutes and from my lower body. Because again, people injure themselves if you're just pulling with your upper body. You're not supposed to do that. We're gonna pull from our glutes, and we bring the weight up. You can still injure yourself with a 10-pound weight. All right, 2, 3. We're gonna do another set of 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent job. We're gonna come up. I'm gonna hold my weight. I'm not gonna drop it because we're gonna go do another 10. If you don't have weights, you could still do the wide stance squat by yourself. You could just add more repetitions with me or follow along the best you can. Again, consistency is what we want to do. So that compound movement, first thing we learned was our squat position and doing it without weights. Now we're adding to it. So you could do one or two things. You could either add a weight to it or you could add more repetitions to it. Okay. All right. So we're going to get back to that stance. And we're going to finish with another 10 more. Okay. So my legs are out. In a good position. Knees bent. Glutes are contracted. Stomach's in. Back is straight. We're going to go down and we're going to really sink into the muscle. So we're really sinking into our lower body. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Way to hit it with a bang, right? All right. So we did our 10. So we did 30 in total, guys. So congratulate yourself if you got this far and you made it through the workout. We're actually almost done. I'm gonna take another sip of water, and then we're gonna transition into our next lower body workout, okay? All right, so we're gonna get away from our wide squat stance for a little bit. I wanted to try something different with you guys. This actually targets both not your upper body, excuse me. It targets your abdominal region and your coordination. But you will be standing for this exercise. I know that's a little bit more advanced for everybody, but if you can bring yourself to stand, please stand. If you can't, follow along the best you can, okay? So you will need a weight for this. Again, you could either use your water bottle or you could use a weight like I'm using now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my weight above my head. For me, for anybody, again, if you're using a weight like this, that's an iron weight, or any type of weight that is above 10 pounds, please be very careful. This is more advanced, but again, if I have to, I'll show it with less weight. So what I'm gonna do is for this exercise, the way I called it, so it was a weight above my head. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift my knee up, and I'm gonna bring it down, up, and bring it down, up, and bring it down. So very simple exercise actually, but not so simple though, because you're working on like two separate parts of your body right now. You're making sure that this doesn't fall. That's the first big one. I have 10 pounds of weight above my head. It's a little scary, it's a little intimidating, but you don't have to be intimidated though, because you have a firm grip on that weight and you just bring your legs up. And what you're doing is you're building coordination, and you're also building up that lower abdominal wall. And also you're working on your balance at the same time. So just because this is starting to get a little heavy again, the thing about being a fitness instructor is know your limits. If you think that you're gonna get injured, or you think this is not the right thing to do, holding that 10 pound weight above my head didn't feel so good, especially for a demo. Only when I'm in motion does it make it a little easier. So for these purposes, I'm gonna bring this little baby weight above my head. And then what I'm gonna do is, now we're dripping water here. That's my blessing for the day. So we're gonna bring that weight above our head. Now we're just gonna contract. And you're gonna take this 10 times, and then we're gonna alternate too. So once we've done 10 alternating, we're gonna switch hands and we're gonna go on the left-hand side. And I'm still dripping over here. All right, let's hope for the best. We're gonna bring that up. And again, it's very simple. And before we actually do that, I'm gonna show my people, because I realized with a lighter weight, you can do this seated. Won't be the same necessarily for the same effect, but for this purposes, we'll do it. So again, I'm gonna bring that weight. If I'm seated, I'm gonna sink into my chair, and I'm just gonna lift my leg up. And the whole point for you in this case, for anyone who's seated, you're gonna be working on your lower abdomen. By the end of this, your lower ab should be sore. And then once you get to 10, once you've alternated and you get to 10, you're gonna lift the weight on this side, and you're gonna bring that weight up, except you're gonna keep this part erect. And the same thing that we're doing. But for you guys who are seated, if you're capable of lifting your leg, what I really want you to do is bring that knee in. Make sure that when you're lifting your knee, that you're contracting your abs. That's the whole point of it. You're trying to target this region. Now, for people who are standing, it's a little bit easier because you're forced to bring the leg up because you're standing. But for people who are seated, it's a modified version for anyone who is unable to stand for long periods of time, or someone who perhaps has an injury, but that's a big one for me. If you're gonna do it seated, I wanna make sure that you get the best quality for what you're doing. So make sure when you bring that knee in, bring it as far as you can in and contract that abdomen, and then keep the weight as straight as you can, okay? Excellent. So now that everybody's on the same page, I'm gonna lift up my weight now. That's not so intimidating. We're gonna do a quick shot check. We're gonna see where we're at. All right. So we're gonna just do this because for time reasons, I don't have too much time left and I still wanna get to my stretching and my breathing work with you. So we're just gonna do 5 on both sides, so 10 in total. So we'll pick this up on our next session, late time in June or early July, depending on Z and YPL brings me back. So again, I'm gonna bring that weight up. I'm gonna lift it above my head. Again, I have a firm grip on this. So firm grip, hold it, bring it above the head, and we're just gonna bring our legs up, and we're gonna drop it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excellent. And I'm gonna switch over to the weights now. I'm gonna go on my left-hand side. I'm gonna make sure I have a good lock up on that weight, because this is 10 pounds. I'm gonna bring my leg up, bring it down. I'm gonna contract my abs and bring it down. Bring my knee up and bring it down. That's 3. This is 4 and 5. We're gonna do one more set just because we have enough time. So we're gonna go up again. I'm on my right side. So I'm gonna start with my right knee. I'm gonna bring it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're gonna switch back over. We're gonna do the left side, and we're gonna bring the left knee up now. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and if you have to, you can put your hand out too. That's something I didn't mention earlier, but for people with balance issues, or you could use your chair if you have to. I would just prefer if anyone was advanced, you put your hand out if you feel a little wobbly, if you feel like you're gonna fall. All right, so we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, just because I'm feeling it, we're gonna do one more set. So we're gonna do 5 on each. All right, so we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. You see how my abdominals are contracting? You see that snap like that? That's what we want. So I'm gonna bring that weight up again, and this is our last 5, guys, before we transition into our cool down. All right, so we're gonna go up, down, up. Really feel your muscles contract and make sure you have that weight, that strong grip on that weight, okay? Our last 3, so 1, 2, and 3. Excellent job, everybody. All right. So now we're gonna transition into our cool period. So one thing I got asked in my earlier sessions this week was a calf stretch and a hamstring stretch. So I actually wanted to just demonstrate one of the hamstring stretches that I learned. I know I asked Steve to politely email everybody just to give them a demonstration over a picture image. But I actually wanted to show it just so that everybody gets a great quality workout and also a good cool down period. So I'm just going to show that stretch now just because it was important to me. This is a stretch where I learned that you have to be lying down. So if you can, I would highly recommend if you have an aide, if you have a guide, or if you're with a parent or brother and sister, when you're laying down on the floor, you're going to take your leg and you're going to elevate it. I'm going to show that now, okay? So I'm going to move my weights out the way. And I'm going to lay down for this, okay? All right, and this is good for anybody, actually, for anyone who's a little bit older. You could do this on your bed. You could do this on the couch with supervision of someone if you were scared that you're going to fall or that you're going to hurt yourself. But it can be done on the bed, and it can be done on a couch setting. And for people who are advanced, gym setting, your room, doesn't matter. So we're just going to drop down. We're going to lay down, and I'm going to bring my leg up. And you see how my other leg, my other leg is actually contracted. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to bring the leg up. I'm going to grip it. That other leg is going to flatten out. So now this other leg is flat. And I'm just going to bring it back. Now, the person on the opposite side would stretch my leg back. So if there was a trainer here in front of me, they'd be pushing my leg back. But for me, because I'm by myself today, I'm going to take my leg. I'm going to make sure my opposite leg is straight. And I'm going to just slightly push it back. So I'm going to bring my head down. I have a light grip because I am shaking a little bit because the muscle is tight. And I'm just going to hold it for about 5 seconds. And 5. Excellent. So now everybody can see it. My legs are straight. They're parallel now. I'm going to bring the opposite side up. And again, this is targeting your hamstrings, which is what I was asked earlier. So I'm going to go up now. I'm going to climb up my leg. I'm going to slowly drop the weight back. And I'm going to hold that muscle for about 5 seconds. Don't stretch it too much. Just hold it. Excellent. I'm going to come up again. I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to climb up my leg now. I'm going to straighten out my right leg now, just so that this right leg is flat and the left leg is elevated. Then I'm going to slowly go down. So I'm going to push that weight this way. I'm going to hold it for 5 seconds. And you should be feeling all right here. This is where your hamstring is. You're going to hold it and then release. We're going to do one more on the opposite side. Excellent job. All right, now we're gonna come up. All right, we're gonna get into our butterfly position because I think we're almost out of time actually. Yep, we got a minute. All right, so I'm just gonna come here, get to my butterfly position. This is really good for actually, I always end with this position for spiritual reasons and for symbolic reasons, but this is actually good for, because we did weighted squats today, and we worked actually the inside of our thighs with those weighted squats and with the regular wide squat set. This position here is actually really good to open this up even more now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hands, we're gonna lock it in, we're gonna push our body weight towards us. And then what some people do, some people will flap, which is a common method. Other people do is that they lean their upper body weight into their legs. That's a big one. This one I would highly recommend because I am actually a little tight right now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, my lower body is in the butterfly position. My upper body, my elbows are literally, they're pressing against my knees where they're bent. So if you could see that, you see this is, excuse me, right here, this is like the perfect angle. My leg is down. My elbow is literally embedded into my knee, and we're gonna push down now, and you're gonna feel it all through here. You should feel that weight kind of being released a little bit, that resistance. And we're just gonna hold that for a couple seconds. And we're gonna come up, and we're gonna stretch. Take a couple deep breaths, go down again. Dig into that muscle now, dig into your knees now a little bit in that butterfly position, just for a couple seconds. Again, I can feel it on the inside of my thighs, but that's the area that we targeted today. So we're gonna come up again, take a deep breath, and we're gonna go down one more time. And now for me, since my legs are nice and loose now, I'm just gonna flap it out like butterfly. All right, and with that, I'm gonna wait for Z to end because I believe we're at 10 o'clock for today. I hope you guys, again, check in with your body, see how you feel. Be safe out there with all this air pollution. I think that we're in a good standing now, but if you're recovering like myself, or you're healing from either a cold or just from that air, you know, take care of yourself, check in, see how you feel, don't overexert. And it's been a pleasure with you guys. I'm very lucky, very blessed. I got to do 2 sessions this week at the Crestwood Library. Z and I are working on getting another email for personals for anyone who'd like to come on board with me as a personal client. And for everyone who's watching at home, stay well, all my love, and God bless. I think we're waiting now for Z to end. Let's do a quick time check. All right. Yep, it's 10:02. So if anyone has any comments, concerns, or feedback for me, please feel free to leave it in the chat if you're on board. And not everyone have a wonderful weekend.